And we're back on the Buckeye Breakdown podcast. Thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us here today. Got Anthony Moeglin alongside my partner and former Buckeye, Kevin Woidke, and a ton to get to today as we, on this podcast, had boots on the ground in Columbus this week for camp. And really, as you kind of look around at all the different places that you can get your Buckeye content, you got pretty much the only former Buckeye offensive lineman who was down there in the mix, seeing it all, and we're excited to get into everything here on today's show. But before we do that, just a quick reminder, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. If you're catching this video today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. We are just 2.5 weeks out, 18 days away from Ohio State taking on Texas inside that horseshoe down in Columbus, Ohio. The marquee matchup of all of week one, pretty much lining up to be one of the better matchups that you'll see all season long. So getting close to that, make sure you're tuned up to all of our content here on Ohio State Buckeyes on SI. So, Kev, we're just going to jump right into it here. You texted to me today and you said, hey, we're talking trenches because you were down in Columbus on the field with the guys for Alumni Day. What were some of your main takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, again, Brendan couldn't join us. This Volkswagen Scirocco stuck in a trench. So here we are.
We got to start sending in these clips.
I think he watches. I hope he does. No, but I mean, it was cool. It was nice to be down there, see the boys in action. It was fun to watch. There's some talented people on both sides of the ball. But yeah, no, I was impressed.
Yeah. So obviously you're down there, Alumni Day. So all the former Buckeyes getting the opportunity to get in there. Are you guys able to get into like the meeting rooms and stuff, or like are they let you see kind of everything that's going on down there? Or where does the line stop?
No, we just showed up. We just showed up for practice, watched it, ate lunch, and went home. Pretty simple, pretty easy.
There you go.
Had 4 former teammates down there as well, so it was fun. And then, shooting it with the old guys was a good time. So, no complaints.
That's absolutely the best. So, you had made mention to me where we wanted to start our show today is on the offensive and defensive lines. And now, for everyone, kind of around Buckeye Nation, really the storyline that is second place to the quarterback is the depth that we're seeing at the offensive line, in the offensive line room. Kind of the headliners, Luke Montgomery, Austin Saravold, Tager Shabola are some of the names, that we kind of remember from last year, definitely towards the end of the year. Carson Hinsman as well. And those are really 4 of the 5 starters that feel like they are locked into place. And then there's a battle going for right tackle. And then, Coach Day's talked about it at length. This is the deepest he's felt that this offensive line room is. And being a former lineman yourself, that's your old room. What was the sense getting to watch those guys? Maybe not even from 1 to 5, but maybe from 1 to 10 to 1 to 12 in that room.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Mick echoed that when I talked to him yesterday. It's possibly the deepest he's ever been a part of at Ohio State. I can attest it was impressive. I mean, there was some. They were doing a lot of pass sets and team because they're trying to figure out who the quarterback is. Both of them were pretty impressive, honestly. I mean, this Lincoln Kienholz kid is an athlete, like an absolute athlete. But the defensive line is as talented as they come, and there were some great one-on-one pass sets that people were having in the team period that was just impressive. Not the only time people were really getting home when they were sending blitzes. But it was awesome.
Yeah, and that's really kind of the the biggest thing is this group goes to, hey, really what propelled them to the national championship last year was what they were able to do on the offensive line. It was a huge question mark early in the year. The group was one of the better groups in all of the country, and then a bunch of injuries hit. Those are well documented. Obviously, Josh Simmons goes down with the season-ending injury, and a handful of others get injured as well. Donovan Jackson has to flip over to left tackle, and all the things that happened. But the result of that was, while that was very tough on them, the result of it was these young guys are being forced to get meaningful reps. And not even meaningful is an understatement to what they got. They got intense reps. They got the biggest game reps you possibly could have. I mean, it was a bunch of other guys getting this team through the college football playoff, which was damn impressive. So the positive to that is a lot of these guys are seasoned when maybe they weren't expecting to be just 365 days ago at this point. But there is one final position that is unsolidified right now. So Austin Saravold, it's been talked about. He's going to move over to left tackle. He's having one of the better camps out of anybody in this entire program. And then you're going to get Tegra and Luke Montgomery as your two guards. Then Carson Hinsman's going to be your center, and then right tackle is the final position group, and it's going to be a battle between the two transfers. The first one, Ethan Oniawa. I practiced that and then butchered it. He transfers in from Rice, and this dude is special. He stands at 6'7", 330 pounds. Like, this is a massive guy who's fighting for that right tackle spot, and he's going against Philip Daniels, the tackle from Minnesota. Not quite as big, but what Philip Daniels brings to the table is this nastiness to him. All of his teammates talk about how aggressive he is, how nasty he is. He finishes. He's got that old school style to him, and got 3 years of eligibility left from Minnesota. So I'm not sure if you got to see both of those guys or watched them too intently, but hard not to see Oinawa running around on that practice field because he is a massive dude.
It was interesting. I couldn't really tell who was who. I passed on the rosters, so I mean they're all wearing helmets. Until they took them off, then I recognize some, but I don't recognize a lot of the new faces that well. It was impressive. I mean, both of them. I didn't really see a drop off between one or the other, so it was fun to watch. It was. I don't even know how to say it. I mean, it was just it was consistent. That's the way to put it. It was just consistent through and through.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what you want it to be, especially at this point in camp. Like, hey, we're getting towards, like I said, 2.5 weeks away. So you got 1 week left of camp. You're going to start shutting it down here fairly soon, and then that week before the game, is going to be your game prep week. That's going to be when you get into in the game mode. You may even practice a little bit of that this next week here coming up. So, Kev, flipping it over to the other side of the football, the Ohio State defensive line has been one of the better ones, over the past couple of years. It's been really a calling card of this team. Now, that group was filled with 4 top 3-round picks: Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, and then the two guys in the middle. Now they're going to be replacing everybody from that defensive line. So there's a handful of names that really stand out. Edric Houston, obviously the first one, right? He avoided major injury at the very start of camp. On day 1 of camp, looked like he potentially got a very serious injury. What turned out to be just something not all that bad at all. So he avoided that. Then he goes next to Caden McDonald, the hype around this guy couldn't be higher. Everyone's really, really excited about big number 98. And then on the edges, Kenyatta Jackson, Bo Atkinson, CJ Hicks, Caden Curry, like all 4 of those guys are starters at every other team in the country except on Ohio State. And they're going to be rotating those dudes in left and right, like on a wheel. And that group has the potential, man, to be frankly game-wrecking type of skill on that front side of the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed with. Honestly, the defensive ends played well. I think Caden Curry, he impressed me. He's put on some size, which is good to see. And then Bo Atkinson is leaner than I thought he would be. Him and Hicks, CJ Hicks, two very quick twitched, fast individuals. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize them in this Matt Patricia defense. But still weird to say, but
isn't that weird?
It's weird. The difference is like they just are. the inside guys get good pressure. They're quick, but like this run defense was fantastic yesterday.
Yeah. What really outside of talking about the defensive linemen, what made that, kind of what stood out to you? Was it linebackers being in the mix? I know we talked about Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles a few shows ago. Was it the safeties kind of getting down there in that more of that pro style offense pro style defense where they're required to be kind of closer to the line of scrimmage? Anything like that kind of stood out to you as to why they were wreaking some havoc on the offense when you were down there?
I think it was just an attitude. Like the play that resonates with me the most is Davidson Igbinosa just tossed the tight end. Like it was Max Clare.
Oh no.
And like let him know it for the next 35 seconds. And it was the attitude the defense had. I guess the defense played well in the scrimmage on Saturday, and they carried that over into Monday. But the offense definitely had some shots. There were some great catches made, like on top of people catches that, I mean, there's going to be fireworks left and right here. And then the running backs, they were making some big runs left and right. They were bouncing around. It was the offense was firing around, and then that's just what I feel like, had to do to respond to, I guess, how well this defense played in the scrimmage.
Well, that's the other thing too. The competition that you see on this team and on this field is something that is only going to push both sides to continue to get better. This isn't one that it's like, hey, the defense is dominating and that's a bad thing. Going back and forth, that tug of war, because you got some of the best players in the entire country on both sides of the ball. Because we want to dig into the running backs. Excuse me, and what you saw there. Just one quick note on CJ Hicks. It was really interesting today. There was a story posted, kind of floating around, and it kind of came from Philip Daniels. So we talked about him, transferred from Minnesota. So he's been in the Big Ten. He is listed as a junior, although he does have 3 years of eligibility still remaining. Obviously, the red shirts and all that stuff that kind of factors into it. But he said that CJ Hicks reminds him of Micah Parsons and how he's so lean and so quick off the football, and how he just fits really, really well, which very exciting to hear that CJ kind of making that new position, making that rush position his new home. And sounds to be like, if you're getting compared to Micah Parsons, that is, not Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter. That's what he said, Abdul Carter. But regardless, either one of those, you're getting mentioned in the same breath as those two, and you're doing all the right things there. So a lot of exciting stuff on both offensive lines, and we've talked about it at length. This show especially is going to be one that promotes the offensive line and both lines, and knows that teams are built by their foundation. But Kev, you mentioned it. The backfield is one that's got the attention of many. We're not getting to the quarterbacks quite yet, but we want to take a look at the running back room and reports kind of around camp out of people who are there all the time. Seem to note that James Peoples feels like he's going to be the starter, where C.J. Donaldson's going to be more of that short yardage back, and then we're even getting some whispers about there being packages for freshman Bo Jackson and Sam Williams-Dixon as well. So some of those young guys potentially getting some reps, but it feels like James Peoples has kind of taken that spot over.
Yeah, no, James Peoples he's an every down running back. He's fantastic, and this Donaldson kid is just built. Like he is a Beanie Wells type running back. Like he's not gonna make you miss with a juke, which he's not. I'm not saying he's not slow, but he craves contact, and like he will hit you and you won't be able to wrap up. Whereas Quinshawn would hit you and you'd be able to wrap him on his legs and fall forward. This kid will hit you and knock you over, like, and then he'll just keep going and find the next one. Like he's just a big guy. That's the only way to describe him. But the other running back, this Bo Jackson kid has some potential. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and important to note, Bo Jackson is coming off of a very serious injury his senior year at Villa Angela St. Joe's. So it was a knee injury that he did suffer. So he'll be coming off injury, but expecting to play, if not early in the year, certainly later in the year. But he's kind of got it all. But back to C.J. Donaldson real quick. You mentioned that he's built like Beanie Wells. Well, C.J. Donaldson stands at 6'2", weighing in at 231 pounds, and Beanie Wells was 6'1", 235 pounds. So I think you hit the nail right on the head. And I think Buckeye fans everywhere are going to be excited to hear that we got a Beanie Wells Jr. Going to be getting handoffs in the backfield and running, a perfect complement to James Peoples, right? You mentioned how he's going to be a potential to be a 3-down back, and anytime you can spill a guy like that, give him a breath here, give him a snap or two, and you do so with a guy who's going to run through your face is definitely a good thing. So sorting that room out is going to be massive. We talked about it a bunch. This offense going through the run game is what they are going to try to do. So the reason being is because you're going to get a first-time starter at the quarterback position. Now, Kev, I want to start here. You mentioned that both these guys kind of caught your attention in different ways. What did you see from the quarterbacks at practice yesterday? What did you like about both of them?
No, they were quick. They were decisive. They both have decent legs, and it was. I mean, they were putting balls in places where only the receiver could get them. So it was fun to watch. There were obviously some misses, but they weren't missing in the essence of like over the middle. They were more so missing. If they were going to miss, it was high into the outside or outside away from the receiver so that it wasn't getting intercepted, which just shows the intelligence of these kids already.
Yeah. And both of them been in the program for at least a year, right? Julian saying last year, Lincoln Keenholtz been in the program for a while. And you kind of hinted at it earlier, Kev, like the Lincoln Keenholtz kind of brings everything to the table. He's so athletic. And not to say that Julian's not, but Lincoln's a guy, and Ryan Day described him as such. He was like, yeah, you put any type of sports ball in Lincoln's hands, he's going to figure out how to do it. He can windmill dunk. He's damn near a scratch golfer. He batted 400 in the state of South Dakota as a high school baseball player. Day even commented like, hey, you give him a pickleball paddle, he's going to figure out how to beat you with it. So just kind of that all-around athlete guy. And guys like that, maybe their games aren't built for like maybe the professional level, but they're perfect at the college level when you can use your legs to create. And that's definitely something that I'm excited to see if they do go with Lincoln. But from like a reps perspective, Kev, did you notice that, hey, Julian was getting maybe more of the 1 reps or Lincoln was getting more of the 1 reps, or was it mostly split down the middle that these guys were getting equal reps with all the teams?
No, it seemed like it was dead down the middle. It seems like they're not even – I don't think they're really close yet to making it. I'd be happy with either of these guys. So I have no worries or issues with whichever one they decide to go with.
Yeah, and that kind of brings it to the next point that I wanted to just kind of to riff on here for a little bit is like the fact that it feels like it's time for Ryan Day to make just a decision, right? If these guys are kind of neck and neck, you got to go with your gut in some ways, but just get a decision made. And I reference back to 2 seasons ago, 2023, when it was Kyle McCord and Devin Brown going through camp. And I saw something today that decision wasn't made until August 29th on who the starter was going to be. And it even like during the game, their first game against Indiana, they didn't go back and forth, but there were certainly whispers of Devin Brown getting in because it wasn't looking good. They beat Indiana 20-3, I believe, and then the next week they only scored 35 points against Miami, Ohio, and it was like, hey, the whole offense looked not broken's not the right word, but just no continuity. And I think that can be something that Ryan Day leans back on because, you know it well, man. That locker room needs to latch on to one of these guys. It's less about, hey, we need to get reps and all that stuff's important, but the locker room needs to get behind one. Here, coach, just pick one and let the boys start buying into to whoever that guy's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is the timing you need. You need to get these receivers used to the timing. You need to get the quarterbacks used to the timing of the receivers they're going to be throwing to. And whoever they make that decision to be, they need to get – it cannot wait until August 29th again because you saw how that season went. We had one of the best receivers Ohio State's ever had, and it didn't seem like he was really there until week 4 because that's just what happened. And they need to do – hoping, and Ryan Day is more than competent to do so. It's got to be done. He's got to make a decision. Quarterback coach is going to weigh in, and so is Hartline. They've got to figure out who they're going to go with going forward because it'll implement their play calling. Impact. It'll impact their play calling. It'll impact how they go to. Who they go to on third down, who are they confident with? Do they like the tight end more? Do they they obviously like Jeremiah more, but he's making plays yesterday in practice because they're covering him one-on-one, but he's going to be bracketed every single week, and it's going to be up to, Brandon Inniss was looking like, Jalen Marshall from was there. There were some guys. Carnell Tate. He's looking big and fast and good. He's a leader. He knows what he needs. And it's not even close. And he's not like a vocal leader. He's just a professional. Yeah. That's what I witnessed. Yeah. But it was fun to watch. But that's what I'm saying. You need to make a decision. You need to figure out who's going to be your guy, who's going to be your horse, and you got to hitch the wagon to it and go.
And it's so – I just think I think back to, even the teams that I played on. I'm sure you felt something similar, maybe not so much from a quarterback competition perspective, but I was in 3 competitions that were, I didn't know if I was going to be the starter or not coming in that first day of camp. And, the team, it gets kind of weird. It never – it's just a weird vibe, around the group at the lunch tables, in films, they do start to split almost a little bit. I'm hey, I like this guy better or this guy or whatever it is. But once that starter is named and everybody just buys into it. And that's just so important. And kind of seeing some rumblings that the announcement's going to be made here by the end of this week. I would prefer that, especially if it's close. Hey, if you're going to tell me it's neck and neck, pick the guy. Just pick one, right? However you want to do it. If you want to pick Lincoln because he's more athletic, or if you want to pick Julian because he's got more time left at Ohio State, whatever it is, pick one and go and be confident in that decision and let the team kind of start to respond to it. So obviously our perspectives there. But Kev, I want to kind of get out of the show on this. Just in general, what were some of the big things? I know we talked specifically about the offensive line, the defensive line, some of the names, some of the faces, but I know all of our fans here want to hear your take on Max Clare. How did the tight end room look? What were some of the big takeaways that you saw at least when you were down at practice?
Yeah, the O-line and tight end are extremely deep. Jelani Thurman's a freak. Max Clare's fantastic, and Kesmerick impressed me yesterday. And then on the flip side, there are some young linebackers that are going to get a lot of playing time. They look very good. And it'll be interesting to see how Laurinaitis utilizes them because Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles are gigantic. But then you got Stover. Then you got this Penny. Not Penny John. No, the other one. Give me a second. I'm going to look it up. Hold on. He was – it was impressive. He was holding his own. I'm pretty sure he's a freshman.
And Kev, that's the thing too, man, especially in these rooms. We talked about a little bit kind of that iron sharpens iron feel to offense versus defense. You get that within these rooms. These guys – these young cats, in the linebacker room with Sonny Styles, like don't want to let him down and compete against him every single day. And that's the same across the board. Did you find his name? Did you get your guy?
I did. Peyton Pierce, sophomore. Yeah. He's looking pretty good too. It'll be. I was impressed with him yesterday, and then the toughness. I don't think toughness is the eager to hit from this defense is impressive. They're ready to have a full blown. They're ready to have a full blown game against some other people because they are itching for it.
Dude, that's the biggest spot here. You get into week three of camp, and you're like, just give me another damn jersey. I want to hit somebody else. I don't want to hit my teammates anymore. But certainly the thing that stands out to me from just our conversation here of you being at camp is the nastiness, that mentality of the Ohio State defense. We know how far that goes, and we know early on, it may not look the smoothest on offense. And for the defense, it may fall on them to kind of pull this group along if that is the case, and certainly doing it with a nasty mindset is the proper place to start. But Kev, like I said, we're approaching 2.5 weeks here until that Texas game, and it's just going to continue to go faster as we get closer to it. Saw some cool stuff today about after the AP poll was, or the coaches and AP poll was released, that a couple things. Ohio State is 2.5-point favorites currently over Texas, and if it holds all the way to kickoff, it'll be the first time a number one ranked team, preseason number one team, is going to be an underdog in week 1. So definitely interesting there. There were a couple weekends. I think is it November 1st that
November 1st is going to be nuts.
Okay,
but. When are they going to learn? I don't understand it. Like, Penn State is nobody every year. When are they going to learn? It's insane to me. Like, I mean, who in their right mind? I mean, that's a good point. They're not in their right mind. But let me go through the AP top 25 right now, because this is going to drive me insane.
If you don't know what Kevin's referencing, the Penn State Nittany Lions in the AP poll, I believe, are ranked 2nd in the country, and Ohio State is 3rd in the country. And the floor is yours, my friend.
Let's go through this. Okay, Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback, ranked 24. Ole Miss doesn't have a quarterback, ranked 24. Oklahoma is Oklahoma, ranked 18. Texas A&M. I mean, LSU being ranked 9 is crazy. They should be higher. I think Notre Dame should probably be a little bit lower. But how is Oregon, who was the number 1 team in the country last year, ranked below Clemson? I think Penn State should have been 5. I think Georgia should have been 3. I think Oregon should have been 4. I mean, that's just what it was. Like, Oregon beat Penn State last year. That's what it was. And watching Dylan Gabriel in action for the Browns, he wasn't the reason. So I'll tell you right now, there was some other things that were going on with that team, and I'm just I don't even know what the right terminology is, but that drives me insane.
Well, you kind of make outside of the I think you make a really good point about there's like inconsistencies on why teams are where. Like, if you're going to tell me that you rank Penn State number 2 in the country because they bring back everybody from last year outside of Abdul Carter, okay, I can buy that. But you talk about LSU. They're a little bit lower, but they have one of the better quarterbacks in the country. If you're going to do that, why is Oregon so high? Because you don't know what their quarterback situation is. But you got Clemson has a great quarterback in Cade Klubnik, but where are they going to fall into it? It just feels like almost they were just had their eyes closed and were throwing darts at the board with some of these brands. And ultimately, like, preseason rankings are exactly that. Nobody really knows. You can have a decent idea, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. But it was really odd that, I think even just from a hype standpoint, if you rank Ohio State number 2 in the AP poll, then you have a 1-2 matchup at noon in week 1. Like, as early as you could have it, you have a 1-2 matchup, and the whole world's going to be watching it. Like, just seems really stupid and silly that they didn't do that.
Penn State, no, here's the other thing. Penn State didn't return everybody. Their whole offense and their whole defense are currently on NFL rosters. In the essence of, their best player on defense, that when he was not in the game or was hurt, their defense severely faltered. And their best player on offense, when he was not in the game, their offense severely faltered. That it was TJ Warren and Abdul Carter was that entire team. I don't know where anybody thinks it wasn't. Anyone who watched football with any resemblance of knowledge would know that. But yet here we are in August 12th, and we're sitting here. These people are paid to talk about football, and they do this. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's a really good point. I mean, do you look at Tyler Warren, and he was as much their offense because they were snapping him the ball at times when they couldn't move it around. But definitely a head scratcher, if you will. I don't think they're going to be bad, but to put them where you're at, number 2 team in the country, I don't know, man. But what we do know, Kevin, is that if you have any friends or your wife or your girlfriend says you're going to be getting, you have to go to a wedding on November 1st, or you have to go pumpkin picking or to the apple orchard, you tell them no, because we've got one of the greatest slates of all time. You got Ohio State versus Penn State, which at the moment it says the time of that game is TBD. We all know what time that game is going to be at. Then you got Miami versus number 16 SMU. You got number 11 Arizona State versus number 22 Iowa State. You got number 13 South Carolina versus number 21 Ole Miss. You got 23 Texas Tech, who Texas Tech's going to be sneaky now. They're going to be around all year long versus number 17 Kansas State. Then you got number 18 Oklahoma versus number 24 Tennessee, and then the big one that day is the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs taking on the number 15 Florida Gators. Again, these are all preseason rankings, but that day of football games, I'm going to be posted up on the couch, feet kicked, just watching ball all day long.
I mean, yeah, and Ireland plays New Zealand in a rugby match in Chicago, too. That's all happening on the 1st. So, I mean, let's just talk. We're covering all aspects. We're covering all aspects of oval-shaped sporting events. There's another one. I mean, that's a top tier. And the thing is, though, the worst part is everyone's freaking out about it right now. There's a good chance that there are, of that list, 4 or 5 matchups that will still be against ranked people. Yeah, and that's it. Like that whole list, you never know what's going to happen in the first 4, 5, 6. I mean, well, what will that be? It was all September, all of October. So the first 8 weeks of college football, you never know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I'm excited. That weekend's going to be a blast.
It's going to be sick, and I can't find it right now, but I know it leads into a great NFL Sunday after that, and just everything about it. I do believe it's off the heels of the Ryder Cup too. So it's everything is right there on that weekend. And I'm just getting fired up thinking about it, man.
Wait, hold on. I think it might be off by a month. I think the Ryder Cup's at the end of September.
It was the end of September. I thought it was the end of October. I might be off.
If it's a great NFL slate, that means the Browns are on a bye.
Hopefully. The Browns are not playing that weekend. That's it. We're getting out of here on that. You can hear it in our voices. We need football just as much as the players need football, and we're getting damn close. This time next week, it will be week 0, which is super exciting, and we'll be getting close to seeing the actual ball getting played. But until then, we're going to stay with you here. So we'll be back here on Thursday night for our second show of the week, previewing our week 4 matchup, which is slipping my mind slipping my mind right now, but we'll get into a little over-under prediction on Thursday night show, along with anything that happens from now until then, covering the Ohio State Buckeyes. So go ahead.
I think week 4 is Washington, right?
Washington, baby. We're going out west. We're going to the Puget Sound. You ever play out there?
No, I mean Rose Bowl. That's it.
Washington specifically. I cannot wait because that is a stadium that is built right on the ocean, and I've heard nothing but unbelievable things about it. So if you're a traveling Buckeye fan, that's one that if you haven't made your decision yet on your game, that would be one you should check out there. But we'll be previewing it on Thursday. So as a reminder, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our video, and then hit below us. Find us on Twitter, at Ohio State on SI. You have both of our individual accounts there, and then finally all of our written content, si.com/college/Ohio State. For my partner, Kevin Woidke, I'm Anthony Moeglin. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the Ohio State Buckeyes on SI YouTube channel.